The 2021 BMW M3 and M4 are icons, and 503 horsepower in the competition model and allowing for 0 to 60 miles per hour sprint of under 4 seconds. Coupled with an updated cabin design, complete with brand new sport bucket seats and loads of fresh technology, and the new M3 and M4 promise to be more than just polarizing silhouettes. The new BMW M3 and M4 use the same twin turbocharged 3.0-liter inline-six engine. That unit is good for 473 horsepower and 406 foot-pounds of torque in the standard M models, allowing a 0 to 60 mile per hour run sprint of 4.1 seconds. The more powerful competition models get 503 horsepower and 479 foot-pounds of torque running to 60 miles per hour in 3.8 seconds. Those horsepower and torque figures mark an improvement of 59 horsepower and 73 foot-pounds of torque compared to the previous models. Both versions have electronically limited top speed of 155 miles per hour or 180 miles per hour with the optional M driver's package selected. Both the M3 and M4 come standard with a 6-speed manual transmission, while the competition offers an 8-speed automatic only, with power sent exclusively to the rear wheels. BMW says an X-Drive version of the competition models will be available in the US later next year. The rear-biased all-wheel drive system is similar to the M5's system, with an active M differential at the rear axle and the ability to choose between 4-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive sport modes, with the latter option sending more power to the rear. The 2021 BMW M3 will cost $69,900 to start, while the new BMW M4 starts at $71,800. The more powerful BMW M3 competition, meanwhile, starts at $72,800 and the M4 competition begins at $74,700. BMW has not yet released pricing on the all-wheel drive M3 and M4 competition models, as those won't arrive later in 2021.
This is the new BMW M3, a pre-production vehicle. This means that we're already close to series production within the various vehicle development phases. We're at the Nurburgring to coordinate the fine-tuning of its driving dynamics control systems. The new M3 will be available in 2 drive options: rear-wheel standard drive and our new M xDrive all-wheel drive.
Look familiar? This is the car you dreamt of every night. It was the poster above your bed, and it was the reason you got a job. In 1985, the E30 M3 redefined the sports car. "35 years later, a new definition is born. Introducing the BMW M4 competition by Coupe. The only competition is in the name.
Here at the Nurburgring, we drive many laps on the Nordschleife, but we also take the cars out on country routes, motorways and roads with bad surfaces. We want to find the best possible balance between racetrack performance and customer suitability, customer benefit, customer performance. I'd like to introduce you to Peter, who's responsible for the driving dynamics development of the new BMW M3 and M4. He's going to take you on a country drive in the new M3. Here we go. We're on the damper tuning route now. We drive this route about 7 times a day before heading back to the workshop. There the dampers will be changed for new ones. The new dampers are equipped with various components that help create the specific effect we're looking for. We put a lot of effort into eliminating disturbance from the steering system, such as the force generated by friction. It's a big task, but once we achieve it, the result will be a vehicle that's very easy to drive. It's best to fine-tune the vehicle on a bad road surface, because that's where we come across the biggest challenges and find the most feedback to work with. With the stabilization control system, we want to allow the driver to gradually take the vehicle to the limit and then give them the performance that allows them to keep it there.
Two body variants with their own individual exterior designs and an emotionally engaging aesthetics. BMW M3 Sedan and BMW M4 Coupe with performance-oriented body features. M-specific versions of large vertical BMW kidney grille, powerfully sculpted wheel arcs with eye-catching M gills, prominent side sill extensions with attachments to the front and rear aprons, carbon fiber roof with aerodynamically optimized fins, plus rear spoiler and familiar M tailpipe pairs, new exclusive exterior paint finishes, M carbon exterior package and BMW M performance parts available as option.
This is the first time that we're offering MX Drive in the BMW M3. The system supports low friction conditions such as snow and ice, especially when cornering dynamically. We have a friction coefficient meter on board, enabling the vehicle to sense the level of friction between the road surface and the tires. Here we go, one lap around the Nordschleife. The disappointing thing about this lap is that I'm only the passenger, but luckily Peter is a great driver. Now it's on to the first exciting section, braking at Hatzenbach. This is very challenging for the ABS. Here we check to make sure that the wheels don't stop at the slip value and that the car brakes well. We're driving straight over the top of Schwedenkreuz, one of the circuit's fastest sections. Here it's important that the car has good aerodynamic balance, so that when you're driving like this, the rear remains stable and tight to the road and we don't lose any wheel load. Now we turn into Fuchsröhre. Fuchsröhre is a very narrow section if you take the ideal line. Here we need a very controlled body. There's still the potential for improvement right now. The car is still very pressure heavy. Now we're driving out of the corner with slight oversteer. There's roadworks here. Of course we're driving within the speed limit. So, roadworks over, on we go. Now we head in the direction of Kallenhardt. Here you need good grip at the front axle when turning in, as the corner's very tight. Turning in's a real pleasure. Now we come to a significant braking point, Breitscheid Bridge. The ABS is very important here. There's an oil spill ahead. That doesn't give you much confidence as a passenger, but Peter's driving does. Here at Exmüller, the M differential comes into play. You need grip because the corner turns outwards. You also need forward traction to take the speed into the Lauder curve. It's fascinating to feel the car traveling so smoothly over the curbs. Now we switch on the DSC, which takes us very softly to the limit. The DSC is fully activated and we have no problems driving at full racetrack speed. You don't feel at all restricted. The car releases torque freely, but helps out if you overdo it. One lap on the Nurburgring Nordschleife in the new BMW M3 is so fast. It's a cool car, absolutely thrilling. For me, the M3 is at its best in every situation. As developers, we have best in segment goals, and the M3 masters them all with confidence. That's best in class.
The front, I think, is something we have to start with. Can you explain why this looks so brutal as it does?
I mean, I already talked a lot about the new 4 Series, and I mean, this is the M4. It's actually the ultimate 4 Series. And as we already gave the 4 Series such a distinctive look and a very confident look, of course the M4 should do it in an even more brave way. Yeah? And so as we use anyway the whole front end as a soft nose, we used really the whole tool to express, and the first time we have a very distinctive kidney shape on an M car. Yeah? So we gave an M car a completely different look than the base car. And we got rid also of the chrome element, because we think also the chrome is not really performance orientated, it's more like jewelry. And of course the horizontal bars, which are always normally in a vertical shape, but here we gave it a completely different look to really underline the distinctive character of the M4.
And we optimize the cooling air intake, right? By increasing the diameter, like a racing engineer would do it.
Exactly. And then on the bottom, I mean, what is always on an M car, it's the angle of the air intake, which is opening to the bottom. Normally we have a 3-hole air intake, we have it still more functional this time, but the bottom air intake is nicely supporting the kidney, because the kidney is the dominant element in the front. Yeah?
That's an interesting line.
Because, I mean, we have a much wider track, thanks to your team. I think almost 80 mil
in the
total.
back, in the rear of the M3, we have 80 mils increase, yeah.
Exactly, and the first M3, the E30, which is of course our pinnacle, has this really extreme fenders, which is more like a Coke bottle, and this feature line accentuates the movement of this extreme width of the fenders. And another element which we invented for M is really the interpretation of the skid plate, which we know from race sports, is this bottom black element, which brings the car even lower on the road and also gives a nice technical feature, because I think our customers expect really highly functional performance on such a car. And here we brought a very nice design feature, which is functional and looks also...
It starts actually in the front skirt and carries on from the side, even throughout the diffuser in the end. And yeah, I agree, technically and beautifully.
And then, I mean, like you just mentioned, it ends in the rear diffuser, which is also massive, I think. Yeah, it's really, because of course on one side we have the 4 exhaust pipes in, I think, 100 millimeter diameter, and this is a very strong signature for M car. But you can see also the fins we have here, a really functional diffuser. And these fins you can see also on the roof, where we changed the carbon roof shape with these 2 fins to give, again, a very functional but also a very distinctive design feature to this car, which deserves a very distinctive look compared to the whole portfolio in your range.
And here we can see the 80 mils. It's quite obvious.
Exactly.
We could have done it more subtle, but I'm glad that we went the brutal way.
Yeah, let's say the M4 with the more, because it's a coupe, it does it in a little bit more elegant way. The M3, it's actually the Sedan, is also in the base car not as wide as the 4 Series, and therefore the 80 mil, they look very brutal, but we know also that our customers, especially in the United States, they love this car because it's a Sedan, how you would say in German, Wolfs im Schafspelz.
Exactly.
This is something which you can really feel on the M3. And then of course here you see some chrome parts as the exhaust pipes, and also the wheels are not in black, so it underlines more the Sedan look of the M3. But of course, in contrast to this very extreme width of the car, I think is a very interesting balance.
I also love the depth of these wheels. It's enormous.
Yeah, and I like
reminds me of what we did in the past.
Exactly. I mean, this is this whole wheel I love very much, and also the milled surfacing here. This is also something we invented. This is not just the milled surface. This surface is deeper than that one. We did this in the past just on show cars. Here now we offer it really in production, and I'm also very happy about the color choice we have now on these both cars. Here the Isle of Man green in comparison with the red of the brakes is really very exotic.
Also available in blue and in black, and as you know, with the carbon ceramic brakes in our signature gold.
Yeah. And now coming to the front of the M3, maybe our fans have remarked it already in the beginning. We have the same front on both cars. I mean, we did it already on the very first on E90 and E92. We used the same front end for M3 and 4, but here of course it is much more impressive, as the 3 Series has never such a kidney, and so as an M3 customer you get a completely distinctive look. And I love also the embossed design features on the bonnet. So with this we have almost every part touched on this car, and I think this is something what M3, M4 really deserve. Yeah.
Excellent job, Tomogai. Shall we have a look to the interior?
Of course.
This car is actually equipped with the carbon fiber package as an option. Carbon fiber in the exterior, but also in the interior. First impression you get is more or less a race car, right?
Yeah, that's what we tried. I mean, BMW is always driver focused. M car should be even more driver focused, and we achieved this by, of course, more attention to detail in the steering wheel and the gear shifter, which are specifically designed with this M drive button in red, and also the gear shifter specifically designed, and also the start-stop button is also in red. But I think the highlight of this car are the carbon bucket seats. Yeah, I think they don't just look great, but I think what they fulfill also functional. You can tell more.
Yeah, I've driven those seats in testing for quite some kilometers, and I can assure you that they are fully functional also on the long distance. And if there is one feature on this interior, I think it's the seat. It's the first time that we do a fully adjustable, electrically adjustable carbon fiber seat. The entire back is made of one single piece of carbon fiber, and the weight benefit that we have by this seat is approximately 10 kilograms, which is a lot. This seat works with multi-point harnesses, so you can also use it in racing. You can take out the headrest pad when you drive it with a helmet. So for me, this is really setting a new standard, a new benchmark in terms of high performance seats in a car. I've never seen anything comparable to this.
And also combined with a very impressive color and trim. Yeah,
yes, marina blue and matching yellow. Yeah,
yeah, and also the stripe in the center with the perforation, which give also a very exotic look to a very specific car.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me.
Tomogai, I couldn't explain it better. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you.
See you. Ciao, Markus.
So, which car is your favorite, M3 or M4? And by the way, competition or non-competition? We offer both variants, the M3 and the M4, as base and as competition. The only thing that's standing out on the competition and that cannot be changed are the all black badges, as we see in the front and also on the rear of the car. The decisive difference between the M3 and the competition versions of M3 and M4 is underneath the bonnet. 480 horsepower, 550 Newton meter, manual transmission, 0-100 roughly 4.2 seconds. On the competition, 510 horsepower, 650 Newton meters of torque, 3.9 0-100 with the M 8-speed automatic transmission. Talking about features, the car is equipped with the M carbon fiber package, front air inlets in carbon fiber, also the rear diffuser is shown in carbon fiber, and the mirror caps. Carbon fiber takes out weight, but even more so does the racetrack package. The M racetrack package comprises the M carbon ceramic brake discs, including the signature golden calipers, and also semi-slick tires for maximum grip, front axle grip, as well as traction. Other features of the racetrack package are the M carbon bucket seat, a DSC system, traction system with which is completely adjustable in 10 steps. We have electronically controlled dampers, and the top speed of an M4 competition with racetrack package is limited to 290 kilometers an hour. So, what I haven't mentioned so far is the integrated brake system. It's a drive-by-wire, brake-by-wire system with an adjustable pedal feel between street and racetrack driving. And all versions of the M3 and M4 come with the active M differential. And for anyone who still wants to put something on top of those two beauties, we got the M Performance parts. Starting with extensive bodywork in the front, made out of carbon fiber with the front splitter, functional carbon fiber winglets. Then the M Performance parts wheels are one size bigger than the standard M3, M4 wheels, 20-inch in the front and 21 in the back. We offer carbon side gills, and the side skids that are signature features of the M3 also will receive a functional winglet. The winglet continues in the rear, and then the two most dramatic features in the rear: the fully functional carbon fiber wing and an absolutely dramatic looking quad exhaust pipe system that is street legal, sounds absolutely fantastic, is embedded in an all new carbon fiber diffuser element and gives the car a drastically different look. So to summarize, with the M3 and M4 we offer the entire power of choice. 480 horsepower, manual transmission, rear-wheel drive, 510 horsepower, M automatic transmission, and starting next summer, also MX drive.